Hello everyone. I hope each one of you is doing great. Hi Mayur. Hi Adna. Yes, I will add you into my live video. Just give me a minute, Mayur. So yes, like I said, we are back on our Friday Instagram live sessions with a new guest, with a new topic. Absolutely amazing topic. Also looking forward for this Insta live on Friday, especially this one because I'm absolutely we have so many what should I say, opinions, assumptions about healthy eating habits. So this is the session to watch out for. Also, if any one of you would have any questions to be answered, do wait till the end of the session and we will have them answered by our expert. So let me bring him on board. Hi Mayur, how are you doing?
I'm good. First of all, are you audible? I mean, am I audible?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Great.
cool. Thanks
So
for having me over.
absolutely. Let me introduce you to my guests who have joined us. So, Mayur has been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years in the food industry. He's also a passionate fitness enthusiast who has recently launched his book, and he has helped many people achieve their fitness goals. And he's there to talk about us, about fitness, health, and yes, his book. It's here with me. Uh,
It's here too.
Yes, I just had to get this book because obviously it has so much of information, and not to mention it has a foreword written by none other than the famous Mr. Kiran More, right? So the book
Yeah,
is, yeah, it shows a lot of value and information in the book, and not only that, even Pulela Gopichand has written about your book, so that's absolutely fantabulous, right?
yeah. Even Shiv Pandit. I think all three of them. My heartfelt gratitude to them because they read the version of they read the manuscript. They took out time to go through the thing, and they gave their, I mean, amazing feedback, and they were very kind to share their opinion about fitness also. So it was very, I mean, amazingly humbling for me.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love. Just started reading the book, but yeah, each one of you must get your own copy of this.
Cool.
Great, great. So thank you for coming and joining me and sharing the information that we are going to now discuss. All right. First of all, tell
Yeah.
me, how has your journey been so far? Before I start with my actual questions, I just want to ask you, how has the journey been so far with, the pandemic affecting and also how have you been keeping up yourself?
So I think it's obviously been very challenging because considering the fact that I was in the food business and I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years.
Hmm.
So the pandemic striking has probably thrown us completely off guard.
Yes.
I mean, it would be. I mean, there is a very challenging aspect to this, but I think also it has thrown some opportunities in from the perspective of people have started reflecting more about their lives,
Hmm.
and they've started deliberating upon this very of their lives which probably they may have not been so focused on because everyone has been busy in their own lives, and they've been like chasing their dreams and climbing up the ladder and trying to run this rat race. But I think the pandemic has shown us that you need to think on this particular aspect also of your life, that is your health. So from that perspective, I mean, I took this time to probably concretize this entire thing that I have been working on for quite some time now, and
Hmm.
I wanted to reach out to as many people as possible. And this is something that is a topic that is very close to my heart, and I have been passionately following and studying and researching and trying to implement it on myself, and working on that. And only after I've been able to have some sort of an overall, finalize it and try to put it.
Right, right. Yeah, I did see there is a lot of
You do.
research that's gone into the book, I mean, when I was reading the contents of the book, like you have divided the book into 4 stages. So it's like a lot of hard work, thought process, that what needs to go, how the content needs to be presented. So yes, it's amazing. I can see it. All right,
Thanks.
so uh, that comes the first question. Now, when it comes to healthy eating habits, okay, now people start initially talking about the calories intake and how much do we burn, and
Yeah.
so what do you think initially for a person to just start up, someone who is just starting up, who doesn't have very great enthusiasm levels, okay, what would you suggest for these kind of beginners, so that they can begin but also kind of maintain that momentum?
I think it is, there is no question of, I always have felt that motivation is very overrated. And if I also feel discipline is very overrated, because I have experienced in this particular journey of mine. I mean, this is an ongoing journey for me as well. But whatever I have been, implementing on myself,
Mm-hmm.
it's more to do with being more repetitive about it. So as they say, first you get the habit, which involves a lot of effort,
Hmm.
and the second is the habit gets you. So
True.
I think to transition from you getting the habit to the habit getting you, and it
Hmm.
becoming an automatic process,
Hmm.
there is a lot of effort that goes into it. And I feel that the genesis at the fundamental level of it is to do with your mind. And
Absolutely.
that's what forms the crux of my the book. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter whether you go and work out in the gym, or you go
Hmm.
for a run, you go for a jog,
Hmm.
or you're doing Pilates, you're doing Zumba, you're even doing the cult fit, or you're doing, I mean, powerlifting, or you're doing some form of martial art. It doesn't matter
Hmm.
that much, as
Hmm.
long as what you have the mindset in place, whether what you're doing is something that is secondary. So
Your internet seems to
to,
be lagging
to
a bit.
yeah, I think there is something to do with the signals problem. But can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah, I can hear, but your video kind of freezes in between.
Yeah, it's, I think, to do with the signals or something. So I think for the beginners, what I would like to say is that you need to put in a conscious effort,
Hmm.
because I think everyone wants to be in the best shape, to be in the fittest possible levels. I mean, to them, I ask this question if they come and ask me that,
Hmm.
what should I do to get fit? But
Hmm.
if I say that, if I come to you and if I could serve health and fitness on a silver platter to you, so wouldn't you probably, uh, I mean, take
Right.
it delightfully? I mean,
Absolutely.
everyone would want that. Everyone would want that I can wave a magic wand like
Yeah.
Harry Potter, and and you get into the best shape of your life, and there
Yes.
is nothing. So it's a very hard thing. I mean, I cannot give something, tell somebody that you should do this, only then you will be motivated to it, because I think it's more to do with an emotional decision.
Hmm.
It's a very emotional decision that one should take, because its fitness is, I mean, it's not only about you, it's about your environment as well. If
Absolutely.
if you're not keeping healthy,
Hmm.
firstly, you'll never be able to focus in your work, which is so precious to you, because you want to
Hmm.
become the best, or fulfill your dreams, or etc., and all that. But you can't do that if your health, or the foundation of this, what I call the 3 pillars of fitness, is
Yeah.
not in place.
Right.
So I think
Right.
it's high time you need to start doing something about it. So that's the only thing I can say, that to the people who are actually So this book can form a foundation for the people who are actually wanting to begin,
Hmm.
and people who are wanting to start or are confused about the fact that this
Hmm.
what to do, where to start, because there is a lot of
Hmm.
information that is available, and even if there is one information, you have a piece of information that is contradictory to that, so you actually
Absolutely.
land up learning nothing at all.
True. True.
So that's the idea of uh, you know uh, amalgamating everything into this particular
Hmm.
book, giving it a structure, and so that
Hmm.
people can go through if they are confused about where to start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, like they say, with money you can buy everything. Unfortunately, you can't buy health. You really have to go and work out yourself
Absolutely.
to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, okay, I did ask you something about calorie in and calorie out. Why people are so conscious about that, and sometimes these high fat foods, once we are actually getting into the fitness journey, suddenly we become very conscious about the labels that we read, about the kind of food that we are eating, and suddenly high fat foods are labeled as ki they are not good, like ghee kharab hai and all. But I personally I feel ghee, as long as you're taking it in measurable quantities. So what does the expert have to say?
I think, see, from the perspective of something about ghee,
Yeah, I mean, when people start getting into this, they give up
I think
on,
I'm losing you
ghee and what.
because of the connection.
Okay, I think the connection is bad at your end.
Yeah, yeah, at my
Okay,
end also probably.
मोबाइल डेटा ऑन कर लो. वाईफाई एंड मोबाइल डेटा
नहीं,
दोनों.
वाईफाई वाईफाई दोनों है ऑन.
अच्छा, मेरा भी. ओके फाइन, नो वरीज.
So, just because I think I lost you in the midst somewhere.
You go and find a place where there is network. you you want to rejoin again? Do you want to rejoin?
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now I
Good.
think. Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So stay still over
Okay.
there. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I was asking, like, once people make up their mind and they want to get into this journey of fitness, okay, they suddenly become very conscious about the labels. When they go to the supermarkets, they suddenly become very conscious about the food that's there at home, the amount of oil and ghee that they eat. Suddenly, they get labeled as bad things. So, that's what I was asking. What does the expert
Yeah.
have to say about that?
No, no, firstly, it's not that I'm an expert or something. My research continues, but
Hmm.
I feel I am a big proponent of home cooked food.
True.
I mean, I don't think anything is better for us than a home cooked meal.
True.
Now, the issue has been that once you get into this journey, then you tend to what can I say? That you tend to think that fats are not good.
Hmm.
You should not have oily food. Of course,
Hmm.
that all is there, and
Hmm.
one needs to be mindful about the labels, as you said about the labels, because we need to be mindful of what we are consuming.
Yes.
So I personally make it a habit that if I'm ordering something from outside, a packaged food, then I make sure that I'm able to read the label. That is
Hmm.
one practice. That is a very one healthy practice that one can inculcate. But yes,
Hmm.
you should study the label and
Hmm.
study the ingredients, know
Hmm.
what's good for you and know what's not good for you.
Hmm.
Because it's not that one size fits all. I mean, something that might
Hmm.
suit me may not
Hmm.
suit you.
Absolutely.
So because everyone is different, everybody's
Hmm.
anatomy is different, everybody's environment is different, everyone is in a different setup where they eat different things. Because say somebody from South India
Hmm.
has is very is it's good for him to eat rice because that is the local food that they consume. For
Right.
the Punjabis in Punjab, aloo ka
Hmm.
paratha is an excellent item, and they have it
Yes.
every day for breakfast. Now
Absolutely.
they might antagonize it if somebody starts having getting on the fitness journey, but
Yes.
one needs to ensure that they stick to the roots.
Hmm.
So for somebody who's from Southeast India, rice and fish
Hmm.
is a very common thing. Say even
Yes.
for the East India, like for the Bengalis, rice and
Hmm.
fish is a very staple item. So if
Yeah.
I have to advise a person who's from that region, I
Hmm.
would not ask to take off rice and fish from their from their diet, because that is something that suits their body, their anatomy. So it
Absolutely.
is very important for us to be in touch with that.
Hmm.
And what has happened over a period of time is that with the Western, with we being
Influence.
influenced by the Western diet,
Right.
we've started not giving so much of importance to our own local food. Rather,
Hmm.
we have started looking up to the food that they are eating. Now,
Absolutely.
there are a lot of disadvantages to that, because I believe that we are Indians. I mean, if I'm talking from an Indian perspective,
Yeah.
if I am an Indian, then the food that is grown here
Hmm.
and made at our homes is something that will suit me naturally, because
True.
that's my hiccup.
True. Hmm.
So I think one should not get very hassled up about this.
Hmm.
Home cooked meal is, I always say, is above anything that sounds fancy.
Right. So to sum it up, we should stick to our local foods, seasonal foods, right? And we should not get influenced or fascinated by the fancy names that we see in the supermarkets.
No, no, local foods you should always. I mean,
Yeah.
local seasonal foods, as they say, think global, but eat
Hmm.
local.
Yes.
So
Right.
I think you should always be sticking to your roots by and large. Of course,
Hmm.
when you want to try out something else, uh, you can always try that, but that should
Hmm.
not form a predominant part of your diet, because you're not made that way.
Absolutely. Right. Right. Okay. So that brings me to my next question, which is like a lot of people, tend to skip breakfast, which is actually the most important essential food to begin with.
Yeah.
Personally, I never skip it. I have functioning properly, and you can start thinking for the rest of the day. Okay. Could you hear the question? Could you hear me?
I heard the first part. The second part, I think I lost you. Sorry.
Okay. So now I was talking about, people skipping breakfast. Sometimes people just tend to eat a fruit and they run away. They have a cup of tea or a coffee and they just run away. And then they are actually empty stomach for the last 8 hours that they have slept. Then they are hungry for the next 6 hours that they will be working. And then they will be having lunch, and that will bring another set of problems to them. So how do we highlight the importance of breakfast and at least taking 15 minutes out for your breakfast to focus on it?
The only way that the only thing that I can talk about the breakfast is that I'm a firm believer that the first hour forms the rudder of the day,
True.
and it is something like you are going out and working your ass off,
Hmm.
but where do you get the fuel from? So you're starting ignition तो आपने मारना चालू कर दिया, but उसमें गाड़ी में पेट्रोल ही नहीं है. So I mean, there is no fuel in the car,
Right.
and you're not constantly cranking the engine and
Right.
trying to and expecting the car to move. So I
Right.
think breakfast from that perspective forms the most important meal of the day for me, and especially if you're actually going for a workout or exercising
Hmm.
first thing in the morning,
Hmm.
if you're not having your breakfast, then probably you should not be working out at all.
Hmm.
So for me as well, breakfast happens to be one of the most important meals, because I mean, our ancestors also used to rightly say that you should have breakfast like a king and dinner like a
Hmm.
pauper.
Yeah.
Maybe ancestors, but my dad says this a lot, and I think there is a lot of truth
In it. I agree.
in this particular thing,
Statement.
that one should always, because you are more active during the daytime and
Hmm.
you're less active during the nighttime.
Yes.
Similarly, your body processes are more active as soon as you wake up,
Hmm.
but they try to slow down. And because as the day progresses,
Hmm.
you're just like you get a little tired or fatigued, your body systems also are, in a way getting fatigued. So
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
should not try to overburden them by, going spacing. I mean, starving yourself for long periods of time and then
Right.
gorging on once you're back from work.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
it should be a very balanced way that you should be. I mean, eating and feeding your body. Starting
Hmm.
with the breakfast should be your main focus, and dinner should be light and manageable.
Absolutely.
That
Right.
that's what I have been following.
Yes. So all those people who are listening to us, don't skip your breakfast from tomorrow. All right. So, and yeah, I just wanted to ask one more thing: is eating small meals frequently, does it help, or should you just kind of eat at one go? How is it?
Uh, so I have been following this principle of eating every 2 to 3 hours, and this is what I highlight in the strategies in the final section of the book,
Hmm.
which talks about the 10 strategies to eating right.
Hmm. Hmm.
That in that I highlight certain strategies which I research life, and I've in fact even talked to a lot of nutritionists on this and had a discussion with them, read
Right.
up on them, and what generally is the principle that they go by is that you cannot starve your body for long periods of time, because then the body goes into a stress mode,
Hmm.
and that releases certain stress hormones like cortisol or something, which hamper the metabolism of the body, which should be a natural state. So say suppose if
Right.
you're wanting to be in a, a fat burning state, which
Hmm.
we all want to be actually technically.
Hmm.
So you don't want that to stop. The
Hmm.
moment you are deviating from from the normal, that
Hmm.
you're say not eating for the next 5 hours, 6 hours,
Hmm.
and the body goes into a natural stress mode, and
Right.
that fat burning capacity of the body stops.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's how it starts to figure out in the system of the body. So
Okay.
eating frequent meals
Hmm.
is is like telling the body that okay, I'm feeding you intermittently, but not intermittent fasting that I'm talking about, but
Hmm.
I'm feeding you at regular
Hmm.
intervals and providing you
Hmm.
nutrients at regular intervals.
Right.
But eating frequently does not mean that you should go, just go on eating till 12 in the night.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It needs to stop after a certain point of time, because after a certain point of time, whatever you eat will get guaranteed converted into fat. Like say, if you are continuing to eat, if you are having a dinner at 11:30 in the night, I mean,
Hmm.
there
It
is,
won't help.
even though you might be eating even though you're eating a nutritious salad for that matter,
Yeah.
or eating a healthy chicken breast or something like that, or
Right.
you're eating a very healthy meal, at that point of time nothing's going to work. It's as good as you're eating fat itself. I mean, you're
Right.
eating something that is bad for you. So
Absolutely right.
that needs to stop. So from the time you wake up until about that's what I say, that you eat every 2 to 3 hours, and
Hmm.
your last meal should be 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed.
Right.
That's the principle that I
Right.
follow, and that's what I elaborate in the book.
Yeah, yeah, I do follow that actually. I think along with the food eating habits, timing is also very important. What are the timings you're eating? Essentially, because like you said, before we go to bed, you need at least 3 to 4 hours कि वो खाना हजम हो जाए तब तक at least. Otherwise, you're just dumping
Yeah.
yourself and you're going to lie down, right?
No, actually, you need to follow the regular
Hmm.
pattern of. It's actually a pattern that one needs to keep on
Hmm.
following,
Yes.
and one needs to keep on you have to follow the 2 to 3 hour pattern which I follow,
Hmm.
and every 2 to 3 hours, and then stopping to eat after a certain point of time, because even the nutritionists say that, uh, after sunset, you shouldn't be eating actually anything, because that is the best time that you should actually stop eating. But
Yeah.
yes, we obviously have our lifestyles,
Hmm.
like we go to work, come back from
Hmm.
work. So it becomes a bit of a challenge. So I think the last meal that you have generally is 8:30 or 9:30, and
Hmm.
that's about it. You should not go beyond that.
Right. Great. Great. So, okay. Another question, yeah, this is an interesting one which I wanted to ask. So, when it comes to healthy eating habits, should people also make supplements a part of it? Because a lot of time, when they start getting into this, um, I don't know, but like some people who start working out, they I think survive on protein shakes or what, or supplements and all. So, uh, I don't know how to put it across. How does one identify what exactly should be going inside you and what is actually helping you? And not like just because it's a fashion these days to survive on smoothies and all. How would you explain this entire thing?
For me, supplements is a very essential part of a wholesome diet,
Hmm.
because even if you are uh, even if you are eating what you are eating in the
Hmm.
most nutritious possible way,
Hmm.
it's not possible for you to get certain nutrients
Hmm.
to the extent your body actually requires for its daily optimum function.
Hmm.
Now, say for example, if I take a small example, you talked about protein shakes.
Hmm.
Now, protein is one. If you talk about the daily requirement of protein, it's
Hmm.
roughly comes out to be approximately 1 gram per kg of body weight.
Right.
So, on an average, if a human being weighs 60 kilos,
Hmm.
you need 60 grams of protein. Now, one katori of dal has about 5 to 7 grams of protein.
Hmm.
One chicken breast has about 12 to 15 or 18 grams of protein.
Hmm.
So even if you are able to follow
Hmm.
the entire 2 to 3 hour pattern, it's humanly not possible for us to have all that,
Hmm.
because your body needs a certain requirement of macronutrients and
Hmm.
micronutrients, that is your proteins, carbs, and fats, as well as your vitamins, minerals.
Hmm.
Your body needs that in certain quantities
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
it to function in an optimum fashion.
Hmm.
Uh, that is where the role of supplements come in, and that
Okay.
is how supplements should be seen also. You
Right.
cannot, if you're expecting your macronutrients and your micronutrients, getting those only from supplements, then that's
Hmm.
not a very healthy thing to do. You need to
Absolutely.
have a nutritious baseline diet in place,
Hmm.
and beyond this, supplementation should be a part of it in
Hmm.
order for you to get everything that your body needs.
Right.
That's my take on supplements, because I feel
Hmm.
it is important, because if you're working out, it becomes all the more essential because the demand on the body goes up.
Hmm.
If you're leading a sedentary lifestyle, then there is an X number of calories that you need to intake by way of intaking your macronutrients.
Hmm.
But if you're working out, then the demand goes up.
True.
So it's very difficult for us to get that to the extent that our body needs,
Hmm.
having all the means. But that said aside, you cannot
Hmm.
form supplementation as your main diet. It
True.
needs to be seen as a supplement only, because that's
Right.
what it is.
Absolutely.
That's why they're
Absolutely.
called supplements. They're not the primary source of food.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. No, I wanted to ask this, because these uh juices and smoothies, the way these get highlighted, as if like they are the only source of nutrition that you're going to get. You're not going to get any nutrition from the food that you eat. So it was very important to highlight the importance कि कितना जरूरी है और कहाँ जरूरी है वो implement करना. It was necessary to highlight that.
But actually, as far as juices, I'm not a big fan of juices at all. I don't recommend anybody to have juices.
Okay.
Smoothies is good if it's a homemade smoothie. But
Okay.
again, this is something which is getting into the nitty gritties of
Hmm.
it. But
Hmm.
what people are essentially trying, I mean, one cannot replace their normal home cooked food and have a smoothie only and expect that you get all the nutrition from it. It's not
That's
possible.
Hmm.
Because what the vegetables, what your proteins,
Hmm.
what your milk products, what
Hmm.
your lentils, what your pulses, what your cereals give you,
Hmm.
if when you that as a part of your diet, no
Hmm.
smoothie protein shake can give that to you, because
Hmm.
that is what your body actually needs.
True.
Those are just supplements, so they
Absolutely.
should be seen that way. Having said that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have supplements, because you should have supplements. I myself have, because I like to work out in the gym, so I make it a point to have my post workout meal or
Hmm.
pre workout shake, or
Hmm.
having my daily multivitamins,
Hmm.
having my daily calcium supplements, etc. I think these all need to form a part of
Hmm.
your diet, but your base diet needs to be in place first. Then
Absolutely.
supplements is the second stage.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, lastly, I wanted to ask was, okay, any one of you, if they have any questions, please do put them in the chat box. Okay, another question that I had was WHO pyramid. They shows they highlight a lot of importance on the color. Like they say, your plate needs to be filled with, I think seven
Yeah.
different colors, right? So I
Mm.
want you to
Yeah, yeah.
highlight and explain that why is it so important to blend fruits and food in our day-to-day eating habits or regular food eating habits?
Actually, who brings out the food pyramid, if I'm not
Hmm,
mistaken? So I think food pyramid essentially shows us uh, what kind of foods should form a part of our diet, and what form, in what quantities.
hmm,
So there are two. My opinion is actually divided on this, because
okay.
there are some things that I agree as far as the food pyramid is concerned, and there are certain things that
Hmm,
I sort of see it in a different light.
hmm,
Now, as far as the things that I agree on is concerned, uh, if you talk about the food pyramid, then the topmost, on the peak of the food pyramid, says that those are the stuff that you should be avoiding,
hmm,
and what should form a part of your uh, diet should be the lower half of the pyramid, like the fruits, the green leafy
hmm,
vegetables,
hmm,
and things you should avoid are like, the junk food, etc., and all
hmm,
that, which should form a very minuscule part of your diet. So that thing I agree on.
hmm,
But I also feel that apart from the nature of food and the quantity of food that you should intake, there is also a third element, that is the timing of the food, which we talked about earlier.
oh, yes.
Uh, uh, because that's what I try to bring out in the book. Eating right has three essential elements:
Hmm,
eating the right food, eating in the right quantity, and eating at the right time. So I
uh,
feel every food has a particular time in which it is best absorbed by the body, or the
hmm,
nutrients from that food are best assimilated by the body.
hmm,
Like for example, fruits. Fruits,
hmm,
I think, forms a very important part of our diet, which you probably take for granted. And even the food pyramid says that you should have foods, colorful
yeah,
fruits, etc. A part of that. That does not mean that you should only eat fruits throughout the day.
hmm, hmm,
That means that food should form a part of fruit should form a part of your diet.
hmm,
Having said that, even the green, that is the
hmm,
green vegetables,
hmm,
the colorful fruits, the
hmm,
other stuff. That's what they're trying to uh, tell you. Basically, the food pyramid is trying to tell you that you should have a wholesome diet. You
right,
should
right.
not be focused on one particular ingredient or one particular kind of food only in your diet. Have a variety of foods in your diet, because what an apple gives, a banana
Hmm,
doesn't give.
hmm,
What a chicken gives, a dal doesn't give. What a
hmm,
dal gives, a chicken doesn't give. What an egg gives, a fish doesn't give. So
yeah,
have a variety of foods in your diet, because
hmm,
every food has its own nutritional value.
right.
That's
Okay.
that's what the food pyramid
Hmm,
tries to bring out.
right. Okay. There's just one question I guess that's come up. It says, is creatine good for health?
Yeah. So I think this the gentleman who has asked this question probably is going to the gym, and he has his trainer talking about creatine and all that. Yes, creatine is good for health. It's
Huh,
not, but unless until you become very fanatic about it, you
huh,
should not have uh, creatine supplement, and supplements should be taken under the supervision of an expert or a trainer.
Right.
Because if you should not, probably I wouldn't advise you taking creatine by simply reading up on the net about
Hmm.
it, but you should try to figure out what suits you, how much
Hmm.
weight you're lifting, uh, what kind of a physique you're aspiring towards, and
Hmm.
who is the trainer, what are his credentials,
Hmm.
whether he's advising you taking all this into
Hmm.
consideration, and
Hmm.
then probably you can have creatine, because again creatine is something that has a cycle. You have a cycle of 2 weeks, then you are off that cycle, and then you come and back on the cycle. This is basically a part of bodybuilding
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
than uh, normal
Right.
thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, actually, glad he asked this question because a lot of time, people don't want to go and spend money on the trainer, and they want to do self kind of a thing ki label pad liya, and I think this will suit me. Yeah, that's I think I'm glad you highlighted that, because a lot of people say ki, nahi, let me try this, let me try.
I think spending on a trainer is probably an investment and not an expense. One should spend, but one needs to know that the trainer uh, is is good, because as they say, a, a good trainer trains your body, but a great trainer will train your mind as well. So
Absolutely.
I think that is an important thing that one needs to figure out after talking and after discussing with the trainer, and you know how what the trainer says to you and what the trainer is advising you, how it affects you.
Hmm. Great. So I have had an absolutely fantastic session with you, Mayur. Before I end the session, I just want you to share a few details about you, in the sense like if people want to connect with you, your website, and how can your Insta handle, if you can just mention it, and then.
So my Insta handle is simple, Mayur Mathur, and
Hmm.
thank you, Neeta, for having me over. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for actually sort of showcasing my book on your live chat show. So
Absolutely.
this is a book, guys. You need
Yes.
to, uh, if
It's the
you're
book.
confused about where to begin, what to do, I would
Yes.
advise that this should form the basis of your thing. And I feel fitness is a journey. It's not a destination.
Hmm.
It's not about the essential message that I want to give across is that because of what we are conditioned to see on our social media feeds,
Hmm. Hmm.
fitness is vastly different from the six-pack abs that you see. It's more to
Right.
do with leading a healthy lifestyle, and
Hmm.
it's by choice whether you want to have a six-pack ab or not. But
Hmm.
that should not be your main aim. Your main aim should be to live a healthy lifestyle, and that's what my book tries to bring out. And if you
Right.
guys want to reach me and connect to me, you can go onto my site www.mayurmathur.com. And if you want to even take a sneak peek at my book, you can simply type in your email, and I'll mail across you a few chapters from the book. And you can go ahead and purchase it from Amazon, Flipkart, or download it on Kindle and even Kobo and Google Play. So that's about it. Thanks for having me.
They shouldn't be missing it. Like I said, it's a book which has been written with a lot of dedication, care, research. Not to mention, once again,
Thank
the
you.
foreword written by Mr. Kiran More, Pulela Gopichan, and our actor, Mr.
Thank you,
Shiv.
sir.
Great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming over and sharing these wonderful tidbits with us, valuable information with us. Great having you on board. Thanks, Mayur, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, Nita. Take care.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Was the session that we had with our health expert, Mr. Mayur Mathur. And next Friday, new guest and a new topic to be discussed. I will look forward to seeing each one of you over there once again. Thank you for having me. Bye.